Hi, it's Klayton, and welcome to episode 27 of Ask Celldweller. And in America, for some odd reason, today is National Bad Poetry Day. I'm sure I've been accused of bad poetry at some point in my life, and hopefully you have too. If not, there's no time like the present. Get on it. My awesome shirt is courtesy of Blue Stolly, because he's awesome. And his new album, The Devil, is awesome, and it's coming out soon, so stay tuned. Let's jump into your questions.
Hi Klayton, I am Arnav from India. Now, one of my favorite songs of yours was one that you did with the Styles of Beyond, Shapeshifter. Man, that was such a beautiful track. So, I have two quick questions for you. One is, how did the idea of the Styles of Beyond Celldweller collaboration come about? And the second one is, was Shapeshifter specifically written for Need for Speed Most Wanted? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Arnav from India. Greetings from America. So, Styles of Beyond, my relationship with them came through my manager at the time, who also had a relationship with them. He was representing some of their stuff for film and television, and said, hey, you guys should do a track together. And it did revolve around Need for Speed. It wasn't written for Need for Speed, but it was the concept of Need for Speed. They needed tracks that had something relating to racing and everything else, so Ryo and Tak kind of just wrote these awesome lyrics, and I wrote a bunch of music, and they sent me their vocal tracks, and history was made. You're right, Slayer. This is a great statement.
Hello, Klayton. I have two questions for you. Is there ever a point when using too much hardware becomes overwhelming? And if you could choose between a software effect like a bit crusher or a hardware effect of the same deal, which one would you go for? Thanks for answering.
James, that's an interesting question in the sense that it's kind of a double-edged sword. Yes, sometimes hardware does get overwhelming. When you want to just throw up a quick idea, having to patch or dial in a sound on a synth is much more complicated, but I am generally reassured that whatever sound I end up with, there's no way I'm going to get anything that's going to sound that good or similar to it in the box. So it really depends on whether or not I need to do something really quickly, or if I'm going for something that is very specifically unique and very analog sounding. And it answers the second question the same thing. It really depends on what I'm going for and how quickly I need to get there. There's definitely a different sound, and I can come up with way more interesting sounding things using hardware, which is why I generally tend to go there. I think it's pretty easy for me to say that the most difficult part of not just the debut Celldweller album, but any Celldweller album, Wish Upon a Black Star, which really took over the span of 7 years, which is longer than even the debut, and even End of an Empire, and the soundtrack for The Voices in My Head, anything I've done, it's knowing when to stop. Because I have a big problem with listening to a track and saying this is done, because I can hear 20 more things that I need to do to make it perfect. And the reality is I could probably stop about 1/4 of the way through a song, give it to you guys, and you wouldn't really know the difference. But the problem is that I know the difference, and in order for me to sleep at night, I need to finish the track. Well, Alex, the answer to that is very easy. All of them. And what's even better is that I actually am. Because if you haven't seen the very, very recent announcement that Microsoft made, Killer Instinct Season 3 has been announced, and I am scoring it. Along with Atlas Plug, we are joining forces. So if you guys want to hear what we've already done towards Killer Instinct Season 3, you can check out the brand new, the first trailer for the first character announced for Season 3, who is Rash from Battletoads.
I'm crashing this party!
Check out the link below. You can also download the track for free, rock it in your car, rock it wherever you go, because it's pretty cool. Also stay tuned over the next 6 months as Microsoft rolls out some of the new characters. You'll also be able to hear some of the new songs that Tom and I are working on. And there's a lot of great things in store. I won't spoil any secrets for you. And speaking of Rash, bro, do I have Battletoads? Oh, come on. 5,000 points.
These cameos are killing me.
what's up? It's James here, coming from New Jersey. So, got a couple questions to ask you. First one, it's kind of along the production lines. I was wondering, what's the kind of approach that you take when you're working with guitar effects? Like, do you use pedals, or do you run it through synths, layer it with synths, modulars, soft synths? Like, in particular, with your song Down to Earth, you get that really cool, that wah, that phase that you just can't get anywhere else. So, like, what's your approach? Another question that I really wanted to ask you is, I appreciate and love all of your work and just every aspect of what you create and what you do. So what kind of advice can you give to someone who really wants to go into creating like this unique, just flat out weird, conceptual, epic music, like the kind of thing that you do?
What up, James from New Jersey, East Coast. I don't know what the hand signal is, but it's something cool like that. I'm gonna need you to teach me how to play that guitar riff, because I don't even know if I know how to do that, but thank you for figuring it out for me. The answer to the first part of your question is all of the above. Just straight up guitar tone isn't cool enough for me, so I will write a riff, and then I will generally layer it with different synths, and what type of synth will really depend on what I'm going for or what space I have left in the song to fill. And James, as far as part two of your question, my best advice will come from my own experience, which is just do it. I didn't have a roadmap. I didn't really know what I was doing. All I knew is I had to do something. And so I just kind of figured out my own methods. You have way more tools than I ever did. So you can kind of do things like this where you can ask artists questions directly. You have YouTube as a great resource. But I would say if you start thinking about creating this huge, ridiculous sound, you're going to get overwhelmed, and then you probably won't do anything. So start, write a guitar riff, and then start taking some synth sounds and doubling that guitar riff with a synth, and then things will start dictating themselves to you naturally. You'll build tracks, and before you know it, you'll end up with a whole track and go, how did I even do this? Because I do that every time I finish a track. I don't know how I do it. Thank you for watching episode 27 of Ask Celldweller. And again, it's National Bad Poetry Day here in America, so I would love to see your bad poetry, because you've gotten to see mine. So please share it in the comments below so I can read it. As always, subscribe to my channel, like or share this video, and I want to hear your questions, so you can ask them in the comments below, or hit this really cool link in the moon over here and send a video so the whole world can see your pretty face. Until next time, this is Klayton signing off.